This weekend, I get to explore a group which I have heard so many of you talk about for so long, and it's finally my turn. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Well, Crosby, Stills, and Nash was a folk rock supergroup composed of the American singer-songwriters David Crosby from the Byrds, Stephen Stills from Buffalo Springfield, and the English-American singer-songwriter Graham Nash from the Hollies. When joined by the Canadian singer-songwriter Neil Young, they were known as Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. So today's song is Judy Blue Eyes, Crosby, Stills, and Nash from 1969. And I have heard a couple of these artists in their own groups or own music. So now it's finally time for me to sit down and hear them when they are together in this Crosby, Stills, and Nash formation. Ooh, that's nice.
It's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore. I am sorry. Sometimes it hurts so badly I must cry out loud. I am lonely. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard. Remember what we've said and done and felt about each other. Oh, babe, have mercy. Don't let the past remind us of what we are not now. I am not dreaming. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard.
Okay, we'll stop it there. I had to let it play. I was just listening and noticing the different sonic, musical similarities and links and connections to other groups from that era. There is a kind of Beatles feel to it, you know, even the melodic style, the harmonization, even the accompaniment. It feels like it comes from the Beatles era. It does, but it's not just the Beatles. I hear there's a real folk music element to this. The accompaniment feels very folk-like, and I can't help but think of Simon and Garfunkel. And in fact, their harmonizations here, their vocal ensemble is very smooth, like Simon and Garfunkel. Although, if I were to describe it, I would say it's kind of a cross between the smoothness of Simon and Garfunkel and a bit of the spunkiness of the Beatles. So I can hear the time and the place of it, and it's really nice. It has a nice blend. I really am enjoying their vocal ensemble, but also the choice of instrumental accompaniment. Just plucked acoustic style instrumentation, a bass which is very noticeable, although not overpowering. And it all comes together to give this nice atmosphere.
You are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard.
Also, as far as the recording, editing, it's kind of nice. The plucked guitar is more over in one side, and so when the bass enters, it enters on the other side, kind of fills in the gap. And so then there's this maybe tug of war between the lightness, the delicacy of the plucked guitar, and then the warmth and fullness of the bass, which is coming, really charging in and feels like it fills the room.
Tearing yourself away from me now. You
Kind
are
of a different
free,
change of mood.
and I am crying.
Solo voice.
This does not mean I don't love you. I do. That's forever. Yes, and for always. I am yours. You are
Here's
mine.
the harmonies
You
again.
are what you are. You make it hard. Something inside is telling me that I've got your secret. Are you
I'm noticing this guitar.
listening? Here is the lock, and laughter the key to your heart. And I love you. I am yours, you are mine, you are what you are. You make it hard, and you make it hard, and you make it hard, and you make it hard.
So I'm noticing the lyrics as well. It's one of those songs where you feel the conflict, you feel the struggle, you feel the pain, and yet the way it's set to the music, there is still something about it that is special, that is, we're not willing to let go of it, and that adds an extra layer of complexity to the whole scenario. This verse here, something inside is telling me that I've got your secret. Are you still listening? And then the secret. Fear is the lock, and laughter the key to your heart. And I love you. You know, and this is all in the context of obviously things aren't working anymore. So there's a lot of this struggle with the attachment and having to let go, and the music itself is not really embodying that. The music is embodying more of the I am yours, you're mine. The fear is the lock, and laughter the key to your heart, and I love you. This energy, this attachment, this love that still is there in the mix that makes it so hard to let go. And so it's an interesting way to have the lyrics and the music working together to make it even more painful to really stop and think about what's being sung.
Friday evening, Sunday in the afternoon.
Nice harmonies.
What have you got to lose? Tuesday morning, please be gone, I'm tired of you. What have you got to lose?
You know, I keep saying I'm noticing the guitar, and then I don't talk much about it other than I'm noticing it. So it's the sort of electric, not so much the plucked, but the electric guitar that is earlier in the song. It was really, really active, and at the same time, staying out of the way, volume-wise. So it wasn't something that you'd really notice unless you pay attention to it. But it was all over the place, and it seemed to be really adding an emotional, expressive element to the piece. And now here, it's still there. It's very quiet, meaning not saying a lot right now. But whenever a note is played, it just belongs and turns the piece from something that is, okay, nice harmonies, great harmonies, nice bass and accompaniment fill, all good, all nice. But somehow when that guitar comes in, it takes the whole piece to another level.
What have you got to lose? Can I tell it like it is? Listen to me, baby.
Ooh.
It's my heart that's a suffering, it's a dying, and that's what I have to lose. I've got an answer. I'm going to fly away.
So this little passage here, can I tell it like it is? Help me, I'm suffering. Listen to me, baby. It's my heart that's a suffering. It's a dying. Help me, I'm dying. That's what I have to lose. In the different voice, it's as if this is the other person in the mix, right? Answering, because the question is, what have you got to lose? And now we hear them answer, can I tell it like it is? Listen, it's my heart that's suffering. It's dying. That's what I have to lose. And that portion is sung in such a soul blues manner that you feel the pain, you feel the desperation, you feel like it is being told like it is.
Can I tell it like it is? Listen to me, baby. It's my heart that's a suffering, it's a dying, and that's what I have to lose.
And that's what I have to lose.
I've got an answer.
I've got an answer.
I'm going to fly away. What have I got to lose? Will you come see me Thursdays and Saturdays? Hey, hey, hey. What have you got to lose?
So, one of the things I'm noticing in terms of the style of singing here, this is leaning more towards a choral style, less towards a folk or pop style. What I mean by that is I'm paying attention to the rhythm of delivery of the lyrics. For example, right here, will you come see me? Okay, that long extended will. If it were just that, I could say that will has some direct significance to what's being expressed. It's this long, will you come see me? But then, that whole theory is destroyed by the next line that says, Thursdays and Saturdays. Well, hold on. There is absolutely no reason to hold that first syllable of Thursday in terms of expressing the message of the lyrics, or in terms of the speech patterns that we might see tapped into musically. So then we suddenly have to recognize, okay, this is not about enhancing the natural rhythm of the text, or using the lyrical line to bring attention to some speech inflections or something like that, as we sometimes hear in music. This is more a technique which is focused on the purely musical outcome. We stay on that note because, take the lyrics out of the way. No text, no words, just the music. It sounds good. It sounds good in the musical phrase, but it's not relating directly to what is being sung. It's more about setting a mood, setting a vocal ensemble feel. And you hear more of this in choral music, because of course, choral music is exploiting as much as possible the natural harmonies and blend and texture that we get when we have a group of voices singing together. And so it's an idiomatic use of the voice in a choral setting, which really sounds kind of awkward if you sing a solo line like that, doesn't it? Just imagine hearing this sung solo, and you might wonder, why did he just stay on that note? It makes no sense.
Will you come see me Thursdays and Saturdays? Hey, 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 what have you got to lose?
Same with the, what have you got to lose? What's the point? I mean, in terms of what we're singing, the lyrics. There isn't a direct connection. I'm not saying it's completely irrelevant, because of course this entire musical ensemble is setting a tone, a mood, an environment, a sound world which suits the lyrical expression. But it's less directly linked to exactly what we're singing in that moment, and it's a broader, should I say, it's a more whole picture approach of, what is the mood we're after? Now let's create some music that has that mood. And so that's why I say that their vocal ensemble style certainly leans strongly towards the choral vocal ensemble styling, and less towards the popular music, folk music, which is more designed for single voice singing. It's just interesting to notice these kinds of things.
What have you got to lose?
And it's especially interesting in the context of the very folk-like. Oh, that's interesting. Textures.
chestnut brown canary, ruby-throated sparrow. Sing the song, don't be long, thrill me to the marrow.
There's a bass again. It's still this percussion. So nice. A whole different texture, quality, the contrast with the
angel ring around the moonlight, asking me, said she's so free, how can you catch the sparrow?
Huh. Interesting the way they shift from balanced ensemble to a really focused voice at the end there.
Asking me, said she's so free, how can you catch the sparrow?
There, on sparrow. You hear? It's like the whole balance of the vocal ensemble changes and you hear the soprano voice much more prominently.
Around the moonlight, asking me, said she's so free, how can you catch the sparrow?
As if I'm looking at the sparrow right then. I still like this percussive element. It's so nice. As a contrast to
Lacy
everything else.
lilting lyric, losing love lamenting. Change my life, make it right, be my lady.
Almost a little Spanish sounding there. Oh wait, they are singing in Spanish. That was really an interesting piece of music, and as it started, I guess I was expecting a typical song style format, and so there was a period in the middle where I was perhaps not sure what to make of it, how to relate to it, because while there are songs sections, it's as if there's a section that is one song and then things kind of shift to kind of a different song. And really it was this percussive element that came in, and then I suddenly recognized towards the end that we're really shifting into a more, I'd say, Spanish style. And then as I looked at the lyrics, oh, they're actually singing in Spanish. So this is a whole different, in fact, a whole different piece of music, even melodically, harmonically, everything is so different. It's a separate piece of music, except it's not separated. And so what to make of it, how to interpret it. And I'm coming back to what I was saying in the middle portion about how this really tends more towards a choral style, and I'm going to even say a classical choral style, because this is something that is more than just a song that you sing through and get to the end and you're done with it. Okay, sure, plenty of rock music is a bit more than a song that you sing through and get to the end of it, of course. But I'm talking form-wise now. I'm talking about the architecture, the structure of the piece, shape-wise. And that has a big part to play in how we relate to music. Because if we're expecting, as I was at the beginning, if we're expecting to hear a song and get through to the end of the song and then be done with a song, it's a bit disorienting, perhaps even off-putting for some, to feel like the piece goes on, and now it's different, and now it's different, and now it's different. What is this? Are we just, aimlessly meandering? And I would say no, not in this case. There's plenty of aimlessly meandering music out there, but this is not. Especially if we look at it through a sort of semi-classical lens, form-wise. It's similar to I wouldn't call it a medley. I might call it a suite or something like that. Not quite like an orchestral suite. That's a bit too strong that direction, but a song suite in choral style, where you have separate songs under a general topic, general umbrella of subject, and then you kind of travel through different perspectives, different subtopics, one song to the next, but there is some common thread which holds them together somewhere in there. And stylistically, they create a sort of, it's kind of like a symphony or a concerto where you have different movements, and each one has its own personality, its own thing to express. But they all fit together and create a nice whole package as well. And the experience as a whole is even richer than the experience of a single portion of it. They have connections one between the other. And so I'm tending towards that. It makes a lot more sense to me as how to relate to this piece of music, how to experience it, to think of it in terms of kind of a suite. This first part, the you make it hard part, and then there's kind of a transition, Friday evening, Sunday in the afternoon, what have you got to lose? Is that a new song, or is it kind of a transition towards a new portion? Can I tell it like it is? Help me, I'm suffering. That is such a powerful emotional expression right in the middle of this. So much more raw than what surrounds it, that it stands out. It becomes, well, let me look here. It's kind of at the midpoint. So right about the midpoint, we have this incredible burst of raw emotion that comes exploding out and just as quickly disappears. So it's this, if everything else is in rich, gentle colors around it, thinking harmonically, vocally, it's kind of a sweet, gentle choral sound, then that, I would say, is colored in, I don't know, bright red or something like that. It's such a contrast. And then everything else shifts around it. I've got an answer. I'm going to fly away. And then it shifts again. Chestnut brown canary, ruby-throated sparrow. Where did that come from? It's different. It's a whole different, kind of a whole different song. A whole different portion of the music with a whole different mood message to express. And yet it falls under this kind of general umbrella, which I might say works. If we were to sum it all up, I would sum it up with these lines here. Lacy lilting lyric, losing love, lamenting, change my life, make it right, be my lady. And I guess I feel like all of this somehow fits under that topic. And so it works as a musical suite. some lacy lilting lyrics, some losing love lamenting, all from different angles. Change my life, make it right, be my lady. And that is how, after going through this for one time, right? And now I'm really going to be looking forward to playing it again, and listening to it several times over to see if this theory that I've developed after this first listen really holds water. But I am strongly leaning that direction. And to my ears, it's really a lovely vocal ensemble suite with some nice texture, some nice variety. It travels naturally, top to bottom, end to end, nice and easily, gentle transitions, really smooth transitions from one to the next. You never feel like you're being shocked or something is patched in that doesn't belong. And yet the mood shifts as we go, and the ending is much more upbeat and vibrant than the beginning. And so it leaves us with a very positive feeling after having been through this whole musical journey. So this is my first time hearing Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That is Judy Blue Eyes. And, well, speaking of umbrella topic, maybe that's the topic there. And tomorrow I will listen to another Crosby, Stills, and Nash song, and I'm incredibly curious to see what their stylistic and compositional musical approach is. I'll see you then.